إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. So before we start, I would like to just make sure if we have brother Ibn Munir, Ibn Junaid, and if we have somebody, Akhi Ibn Munir, are you able to post the translation of the ayat?
Inshallah.
طيب. And do that quickly, barakallahu feek. طيب. Where did we stop last time? نعم, on the story of Ibrahim and Namrud, the king of that time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 258. Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 258. ألم تر إلى الذي حاج إبراهيم في ربه أن آتاه الله الملك إذ قال إبراهيم ربي الذي يحيي ويميت قال أنا أحيي وأميت قال إبراهيم فإن الله يأتي بالشمس من المشرق فأت بها من المغرب فبهت الذي كفر والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the meaning of which, have you not looked at him who disputed with Ibrahim about Allah, about his Rabb? Because Allah had given him the kingdom when Ibrahim said to him, this is the story between Ibrahim and the ruler at his time, Namrud. My Lord is he who gives life and causes death. He said, and Namrud, so Ibrahim told him that. And Namrud said what? I give life and cause death. He meant by what? By killing and saying, pardoning, saying, I'm not gonna kill you. Bring this person, okay, I judge that you are free. And you bring another person and he says, kill him. So he said, I cause death and life. طيب. The ulama say what? Say, look at the reply of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Not going back and forth and debate. He brought something that will shut him up. He said what? Verily, Allah brings the sun from the east, then bring it from the west. Yeah, that's not, subhanAllah. Yeah, no argument. Yeah, but this Ibrahim could have told him, I did not mean this, and it is obvious, and everyone understands that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives life for that was not alive, not about killing and keeping someone alive who's already alive. No, he did not say it. He said the sun rises from the east, bring it from the west. So the disbeliever was utterly defeated. فَبُهِتَ الَّذِي كَفَرَ. Utterly defeated. And Allah guides not the people who are ظالمون. آمين 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 وإياكم. ربي يحفظكم. ربي يحفظكم for these beautiful words. ويرفع قدركم. آمين. لقد دعا إبراهيم, الشيخ ربيع ابن هادي المدخلي says, لقد دعا إبراهيم عليه الصلاة والسلام هذا الطاغية المتألهة إلى توحيد الله والإيمان بربوبيته وألوهيته. Ibrahim called this طاغية, this transgressor that transgressed bounds, to that is claiming divinity. He called him towards what, Ibrahim? For tawheed, and to believe in the lordship and uluhiyya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he's worthy of worship. فطغى واستكبر عن الإجابة. So he was arrogant to adhere to the da'wah of tawheed, and he refused to back down from him calling himself from his da'wah that he is deserving of rububiyyah. So Ibrahim has talked with him this and discussed this with him in this illuminating discussion. He said, my Rabb, the meaning of which is the one who brings life and death, meaning the only one who can resurrect and gives life out of death and so on. So فقال الغبي المتجبر, Shaykh Rabi' says, so the stupid, arrogant said, I also cause life and death, meaning that he kills and he leaves whosoever he wants. So he ran away from what? From actually answering. He ran away from actually answering. طيب. And then Ibrahim has given him the one thing, يعني, he has given him something that he cannot do. So he stood surprised. And if the sun rises from the east, bring it from the west. So he stood what? He stood surprised, speechless, doesn't have anything to say. Shaykh Rabi' says there is a lesson in this. What is the lesson? That the call of the messengers, this call that we are taking a look at, is a call for Tawheed. تمثل قمة الإخلاص والحكمة والعقل, which shows the epitome, يعني the top of sincerity, wisdom, and rationality. وتأتي البيوت من أبوابها, and it starts with in regards to anything from its proper starting position, from its place. وتنطلق من حيث أراد الله, the da'wah of Ibrahim alayhi salam and all the messengers, it is initiated from where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. لا مصارعة على الملك, not a clash, a conflict about who gains rulership. ولا منافسة على الحكم, and it is not contest about who takes rulership. ولو كان هدف إبراهيم عليه الصلاة والسلام الوصول إلى الحكم لسلك منهجا غير هذا المنهج. And if Ibrahim عليه الصلاة والسلام wanted to take authority and rulership, he wouldn't have taken this route. He would have taken another route. And he would have found those who will wrap around him and applaud him. However, the Anbiya refuse that. And those that are righteous upon the da'wah, who follow the prophets, truly, in every time and in every place, they refuse that, and they only tread the path of guidance and indicating that which is right, and showing the haqq, the truth, to the ummah, and to establish evidence against the stubborn and those who are arrogant. So, where did start change with Ibrahim in the story of Ibrahim and the ruler? Where did it start? And what is the proper way of changing this dark reality and oppression against his ummah? أيثور على الدولة? Does he rebel and revolt against the authority, the state? لأنها منبع الشرور والفساد ومصدر الشرك والضلال, because it is the source of evil and corruption, and it is the source of shirk, disbelief and misguidance. كيف لا? How is the answer no? والحاكم يدعي الربوبية ويصر عليها. And the ruler at the time of Ibrahim, he is claiming lordship and divinity for himself, and he is being stubborn about it. لماذا لا يدبر انقلابا يطيح فيه بهذه الحكومة الكافرة وعلى رأسها جبار متأله؟ إبراهيم عليه السلام النمرود كان يدعي أنه هو الرب، هو الإله. فيقول الشيخ ربيع: لماذا لا يدبر انقلابا؟ إذن إبراهيم عليه الصلاة والسلام why didn't he make a, how do you call it in English? Do you say a coup or a revolt? Where he takes out this government, this disbelieving government, this kafir government, and upon it, the head of it, is a tyrant claiming divinity for himself. وبذلك يقضي على كل ألوان الفساد والشرك. And by doing that, he terminates all types of corruption and disbelief. وتقوم على أنقاضه الدولة الإلهية. And upon its debris, the divine and godly new state would be established بقيادة إبراهيم عليه الصلاة والسلام, with the rulership of Ibrahim عليه الصلاة والسلام. Shaykh Rabi' is saying, here is the story of Ibrahim عليه السلام with a kafir. Not a Muslim, he's a kafir. He's someone who's saying that he is Allah. He is the Rabb. He's claiming divinity for himself. Yet, Ibrahim was most, عليه الصلاة والسلام, was most concerned about Tawheed. And he called him towards Tawheed. Why didn't he take another route and gather people and revolt against him, and he takes him out of authority and makes a new state, and this state would be by his leadership, he would be the ruler, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. If this is the correct way, and this is the way of Allah and the way of the messengers, why didn't he do that? Why did he turn away? If this is there a better way? Is this the way that Allah commanded? No. Is this the way that the messengers did, the prophets did? No. So what is the way that they have done? Al-Jawab, the answer, Shaykh Rabi' says, حاشا الأنبياء وحاشا نزاهتهم وحاشا نزاهتهم من سلوك هذه الطرق أو التفكير فيها. Far removed are the prophets, and far are they removed from taking these routes or even thinking about it. فإنها طرق الظلمة والجهلة والسفهاء وطلاب الدنيا والملك. The Shaykh Rabi' says, because this is the way of darkness and those who are ignorant, the foolish, the people who are asking for the dunya, worldly life and worldly gains, and rulership and kingdomship. إن الأنبياء دعاة توحيد. Surely the prophets are callers to Tawheed. ورواد هداية. And they tread the path of guidance and call for it. إلى الحق, towards the truth. وإنقاذ من الباطل. وإنقاذ من الباطل والشرك. And to save from falsehood and disbelief. فإذا امتدت أيديهم إلى التغيير وهو أعلم الناس وأعقلهم فلا بد أن تبدأ بالقضاء على منابع الشرك والضلال الحقيقي. الله أكبر. So when their hands reach out, meaning the prophets, to change, when they reach out, their hands reach out to change something or for a change, and they are the most knowledgeable and intelligent of all people, then it must start by eliminating the sources of disbelief and true misguidance. وكذلك فعل إبراهيم الحليم الرشيد البطل الشجاع. And so did Ibrahim, the patient, the wise, the hero, the courageous. Subhanallah. We are doing also the remake of Replying Crystal Clear. And this is heavily connected to Replying. You have to watch both. You have to watch this explanation as well as Replying Crystal Clear. And as we can see, the Quran is telling us the story of these prophets. And one of them is Ibrahim. And we have debates, or maybe we have attended some debates where we have some people, they are debating, and then somebody says, no, change has to come from up top. So we have to revolt, and we have to, I don't know what. And after revolting, that's how we rectify things. Bring them these ayat and say, but this is not what Ibrahim did. Of course, we are not better than Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. All of us combined, with Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Umar, and even with the Sahaba. Nobody is better but Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam than Ibrahim alayhi salam. And his ruler at the time, he wasn't even just a kafir, not somebody you can doubt. No, he's saying that he is the Rabb, he is the Lord, and he is claiming divinity for himself. There isn't more kufr, there isn't something worse than this. The ulama, they say what? They say you are not better than Ibrahim, or you are not better than Musa, and your ruler is not worse than Namrud, and is not worse than Fir'aun. These people claim to be gods. Anyway, so what did Ibrahim do? Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam called him to Tawheed. I remember when Al-Allama Al-Albani rahimahullah ta'ala, when he was being, people were discussing with him and discussing and saying that they could want to take matters into their own hands. And when the Allama Al-Imam Al-Albani said, we have to teach the people and we have to call for the da'wah and turn to Allah Azza wa Jal, they said, nah, this is a long story. This is a long story. We don't want this. We want to take matters into our own hands. Why didn't Ibrahim alayhi salatu salam do that? Look, the da'wah of Al-Albani rahimahullah ta'ala following the messengers and the prophets. We have to rectify ourselves. In tansurullaha yansurkum. If you bring victory and aid to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings victory to you and aids you. You aid in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jal and you follow the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set for you, you will find success. You turn your back on it and you take matters into your own hands and you turn your back on the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal, then what happens? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leaves you to your means. طيب. And if you did so, are you ruling by the ruling of Allah Azza wa Jal? Anyway, so did Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam revolt? Did he quote some philosopher or someone who was known at that time and started saying that this humanity and the rights of people? And did Musa do the same thing? Did Musa say, you are killing children, you are killing all male children, you are killing people, you are raping their women, you are and the atrocities that they were carrying out, and he was claiming to be Allah? Did Musa revolt and let's rally up the people and take Fir'aun out of his rulership? Is this what they did, or they called to Tawheed? They called to Tawheed. They called to Tawheed. This is what the Shaykh is saying. He's saying we don't find any of this in the stories of the prophets. And then in Surah Al-Anbiya, we have where Ibrahim said, when he told his people, what are these, in the meaning of which, what are these statues, idols that you are upon them making i'tikaf and worshipping? They said, we found our fathers worshipping them. He said, you and your forefathers are in clear misguidance. They said, did you come to us with the truth, or you are toying and playing around? He said, in fact, it is your Rabb, the Rabb of the heavens and the earth. فَطَرَهُنَّ, made them without a previous example. And I am upon that from the shahideen, from the witnesses, and so on, and so on. Tawheed, Tawheed, Tawheed. And the very known story, and at the end of the ayat, he said what? قَلَا فَتَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ مَا لَا يَنْفَعُكُمْ شَيْئًا وَلَا يَضُرُّكُمْ. Do you worship besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that which does not benefit you or harm you? طيب. Of course, we know that there is something in the Arabic language called صفة كاشفة. And of course, we know that does not mean if there is something that benefits you or harms you, then you can worship it. No. What is meant is their description. He's describing them. He's saying you are worshipping those who have no benefit or harm for you. That's their reality. طيب. أُفٍّ لَكُمْ يَتَضَجَّرْ. Uff. He's fed up. This word is brought with being fed up. يَتَضَجَّرْ is being annoyed. أُفٍّ لَكُمْ. Woe to you, or uff to you. And to what you worship besides Allah. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. And so on. And they wanted to burn him and so on. What is the da'wah, ya ikhwa? Da'wah for tawheed. Not for rulership. Not for revolts. Not for protesting. طيب. The Shaykh says this wise prophet, he has faced corruption in aqidah, corruption in rulership, and a nation that their rationality and their thinking has become so low and misguided, that they worshipped idols of wood, stones, and stars, and they have worshipped stars and planets. And their authority, their rulership, is a corrupt rulership that a tyrant is leading, and they have given in to him. So where did rectifying matters start from? Does it start from fighting the rulers? Because without a doubt, they are not ruling by the ruling of Allah, and they are ruling with laws and legislations that are of the Jahiliyyah. There is no doubt in that. All of this Shaykh Rabi' is saying. And he is blatantly, publicly calling himself to be the Lord, the Rabb. And he is the only legislator. Or does he start with rectifying the aqidah of his ummah, of his nation, and the aqidah of this authority? The Quran told us about this prophet, the Imam of prophets, that he started with what? With rectifying the aqidah, meaning calling to Tawheed and making all worship sincere to him subhanahu wa ta'ala, and fighting polytheism and disbelief and rooting it out and the causes that cause it. So he called them to sincerely worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, and to turn their backs and ostracize any worship of anything else. Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan said what? Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan said, لأنهم يرون أن البداءة بالدعوة يجب أن تكون بإصلاح الحكم والسلطة لا بإصلاح العقيدة. He says because these people, they see that da'wah it must start by rectifying ruling and authority, not aqidah. وعلى هذا, and upon this, يكون إبراهيم وسائر الأنبياء قد أخطأوا منهج الدعوة الصحيح. And upon this, then Ibrahim alayhi salam and all of the prophets, they are mistaken in their manhaj of correct da'wah. They have mistaken in their way of correct da'wah. They did not know the correct da'wah because they did not start with rulership and taken the rulership and so on. I am adding now, saying they started with what? They started with calling to Tawheed. Subhanallah. And we have a lot of people that say, yeah, but what about ruling by other than the ruling of Allah Azza wa Jal? We say these were not even Muslims. They were claiming to be gods. They were not ruling by the ruling of Allah Azza wa Jal. And not just that. And not just that. If you look at that, the first thing that has to be tackled when it comes to ruling by the ruling of Allah Azza wa Jal is what? Is Tawheed. So it's not getting position of power, getting positions of powers, or getting authority, or getting rulership. No. What the major focus should be on to rule by the ruling of Allah Azza wa Jal is to exterminate what? Disbelief. So we educate people. We say, look, you cannot prostrate to other than Allah Azza wa Jal and make hajj and make dua. And so this is the main focus that should be the aqidah, rectifying the tawheed of people. Yet, this is not what we see. As many of the ulama said, this is a call for worldly things, to gain money, not a call for rectifying the deen of Allah Azza. Because if it is a call to ruling by the ruling of Allah Azza wa Jal, then the main concern and the number one thing that should be The main concern to rectify and bring the truth to and discuss and is Tawheed, and to turn our backs on and eradicate any type of disbelief in Allah Azza wa Jal and polytheism. And now, inshallah Azza wa Jal, we will start with our next class with replying crystal clear. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.